Hey, so welcome back to Ring the Bell. We are on episode 4. I'm Midori.
Shawan.
And we have a guest co-host.
Hi, I'm Ron. Last time you said my name.
So this is Ron. He's going to join us for this episode and possibly the next episode that'll be dropping in March of this year. How you guys feeling?
I'm feeling good.
Pretty good.
Guest co-host, you feeling good?
I'm good.
Are you ready?
Positive. Ready to go.
Okay. Well, it feels good to be back. So let's jump right into it. The first topic for today is getting physical in a relationship. And we're not talking about it from the perspective of intimacy. We're talking about physical, like, not necessarily, well, I guess it is defined as violence. Putting your hands on somebody, pushing, getting in each other's face. What are our thoughts on that?
Well, that I'm against. Keep your damn hands to yourself.
Okay.
I mean, honestly, it's like, it's a double standard to that sometimes. Like, I've noticed, men, you always told as a man, don't put your hand on a woman. Don't put your hand on a woman. Don't put your hand. Actually, as a child, sometimes you taught anybody to hit you, hit back. But once you get to a certain stage, it's don't put your hand on a woman. Don't put your hand on a woman. And that's fine, and I agree with that. You should be able to, in that situation, you should be able to control your emotions way better than that, than resorting to that situation. Now, if it's life or death or something like that, that's a whole different ball game.
Okay.
Whole different ball game. And I've dated women and their fathers be the same way. Don't put your hand on no man unless you're ready to get this done, this and that and that. But with that being said, that's a whole different level. Like, it's not until you're feeling a dangerous situation, like somebody coming after you with a knife or a bat or something like that. But all the hands and fisticuffs, you should be able to deflect that and stop that and just walk away as much as possible.
Okay.
In all honesty, I grew up with brothers. So I have fought my brothers all the time. And I mean, even in some of my adult relationships, I've been handsy at times, not to a
you look like a fighter. I'm sorry.
Wait a minute.
I have. I'm not proud of that, but I have done that. I mean, at this point, though, I've gotten to a point where I realize that I can't let people push me to that point. And people try to do that. Like, you'll have people who try to purposely keep pushing a button and keep pushing a button.
I agree. I'm cool with that. But, women do that too. Just like me. I don't like the word bitch. Like, you know what I'm saying? You acting like a bitch. You being a bitch. Don't say that word to me. Like, from a woman saying that to me, I ain't gonna be too many more fucking bitches. That's how I be looking at it.
What's gonna happen?
I mean, I'm just done with you at that point. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, meaning, it mean more, in my world, it's like this. It's more for me to cut you off and, like, you're dead to me and, like, in that aspect than me putting my hands on. What the fuck is that gonna do? What is me putting my hands on you gonna do? Okay. Give you a reason to use all these other aspects, the law, the this, the that, to fuck up the rest of my life? Nah. I mess your life up enough by you not having no access to me no more. You got no access to my generosity. You got no access to my blessings. You got no access to my life. You got no access to me at all. You nothing.
They make it blessings.
That's right.
What kind of blessings you handing down?
Come on now. It's a whole nother show.
I mean, I think that, like, people have to recognize being physical as abuse.
Yes.
I don't think everybody does that, because the first time I was in a relationship and it was abusive, it was like I didn't recognize it as abuse. I didn't grow up in an abusive environment, so I didn't know that that's what it was. It was like the guy I was dating, he pushed me. Mm-hmm. So even though I knew that didn't feel right, I never thought of it as abuse.
Yeah.
But later on, I realized that was really like the gateway to when abuse starts. It doesn't always start with somebody just cold cocking you. It could start with
verbal.
It can start even verbal.
It can start verbal. It can start with somebody like blocking your path. It could start in a lot of different ways.
Anytime you feel any kind of unsafeness, any kind of aggression, right?
Or aggression, yeah. Right. I mean, to piggyback on what Ron said, I definitely think it starts when kids are younger, and it can't just be, well, we're going to go tone deaf and only address the boys. Because
that's the culture, though. That's what they do, though.
I have a son and a daughter, and for me, the thing is this: you just keep your hands to yourself. Period. Especially, you dating somebody, or not even dating them, just growing up in an environment like you don't put your hands on nobody. Now, somebody put their hands. It's that. Whew, it's a thin line because, like you said, okay, you at school and somebody put their hands on you. My rule was always you pop them back. That's fair.
It's grade school rules.
Right. That's fair. You don't.
That's the old place.
Yeah, I get that. But I mean, like now, I'll tell my son all the time.
You don't put your hands on nobody just off the bat,
no
just
woman.
to
Put it that way.
right. But for me, even with my son being he's in college now, but with him being in elementary, middle school, high school, interacting with females, and she will push or nudge or try to block your way. My thing was just keep your hands to yourself.
I mean, stay out of trouble.
To stay out of trouble, but you're correct. Unfortunately, a lot of young girls and young women are not taught that.
Let's take the moral part.
Just period. Just people. Period. Not just guys, but you'd be surprised how many girls go at other girls.
I mean, that's another thing too. But let's take the moral part out of it. The part where you say you're not supposed to do it because a woman is weaker and this and all this other stuff and blah blah blah, and the physical aspect and all that other stuff. Let's take that part of it out. The other part of it is this: is that society-wise, the law, the way you're looked at, the things, all these other situations are more problems than it's worth when it comes to that side too. Let's take the fact is, like, that's why I said it's got to be a life or death situation, because in my permission, like I said, a man should be able to control his emotions more than that. That might sound sexist, but it is what it is in my opinion. Men are different than women on an emotional level when it comes to that. Now, that's a whole nother argument where I'm sure this will be good. This will turn back around to something else, because when it goes into equal rights and all this other stuff that people go back and forth about at the same time, you ever notice how you want equal rights on both sides until it comes to some shit like that? Like, you're not just two human beings. Now you're a man and a woman. It's not like in a job where it's like a man should be paid the same as a woman. I agree with that. If you got the same position, you got the same education, no problem.
Okay.
But if you put your hand on a woman, when you go to court or something like that, or police show up to your house or something like that, it should be, but it's not.
It is in a lot of cases. And I know several people who have gotten arrested.
And now you know that law changed though. I have a friend that's a police officer, and we had a conversation about that. He was like, before they would be like, whoever the dude was, no lie. And, he got to come with us. If the woman looked like she had her ass whooped, or blah blah blah. But now we lock both of them up. Now we've locked both of them up. Why wasn't it always like that?
Well, change in time,
but it also was the discretion of the officer as far as I'm concerned, because if the guy is saying she was the aggressor first and I was defending myself prior to this law being changed that I didn't know anything about until you just stated, as Shawan said, I've heard many women get arrested and the men end up staying home. They catching charges way more than the men, so I have to disagree with.
I haven't had that much experience with that situation because ain't nobody had to call the police on me ever, or I've never had to call the police on a woman ever. Okay. But I'm just saying, on the outside looking in, I've seen people getting into it and the police show up and it's like, well, come on, I ain't even do nothing. You know what I'm saying? She the one that did this. She pulled out a knife. She threw bleach in my face. You know what I'm saying? Situations like that.
Right now, where the guy is saying he did not hit his wife, they got into a nasty argument. The wife called the police. The police came. He's the one with the black eye.
Like, you see those jokes in movies when women call the police and they start tearing their clothes and shit and be like,
the black
"Oh my God, he hit me!" And that's like,
that he hit her, despite the fact that he's the one
with the black
his feathers ruffled. They locked him up.
I mean, that's the bullshit. That's what I'm talking about. So it's not even. That's why I'm like, dog, walk away, get in your car, leave. I got called a punk because I left before. Like, I'm not dealing with this shit. I'm going to my mother's house. I don't need this.
No, you're not a punk.
Look, you're such a coward. A coward because I want to sit here and knock your ass out for putting your hands on me. No.
I just feel like I disagree with the whole men are more emotion. Like, you should control your emotions more. I feel like both people in this situation should be mature enough to control their emotions. Okay. Where it doesn't escalate.
Let me ask you a serious question real quick about that. About the emotion thing. And I don't want to get off the subject, but let me ask you a question.
You getting ready to, hell.
Okay, so if something happened emotionally damaging, right?
Okay.
Like, I'm trying to use an example.
Get to it.
You get into an argument or something like that. Somebody say something to hurt your feelings. Mm-hmm. You got a man and a woman here. Woman bursts into tears. Damn, it's fucked up. If a man bursts into tears because you said something verbally to him, tell me you don't look at him like something. Okay, ass motherfucker. Like, yo, come on, man.
No, because I don't know what that trauma was for him.
You know, I love having this argument with you when it comes to this shit right here about this.
We can do this all day.
Because yes, we can, young. You always do this.
I would think.
You asked me my opinion.
I'm just saying,
and I'm telling you my stance.
I get it. You know what?
And you knew my stance prior to even asking me that
you
question.
You don't know the trauma and all this other shit.
Because you
I'm
don't.
sorry. I get it.
Because you don't know.
Okay, I get it.
I mean, it could have been something that cut deep. It couldn't have been you whack for that haircut or your shoes is some fucking trash. It could have been something more than that.
Shoes though.
I mean,
come on,
that is different, Ron, but that's different. But you're saying when you're using something against someone to cut them deep, that's essentially what you just said to me.
Right.
How can I judge him for crying or shedding a tear or getting emotional behind it? Because I'm purposely now using that to cut you.
Okay, I'll give you a prime example. When I was a kid, I was this kind of kid.
You got some bitch ass shoes on your feet.
When I got pissed off as a child, I was a kid. And then tears and shit would come out of my eyes.
Because
you know
you're
what?
Mad.
Yeah, I became a man, and now I can be mad as fuck, and you don't even know. I'm just gonna sit in the corner like this, and like I'm my eyes may be bloodshot or something, but I'm not.
But is it wrong for that dude to not necessarily boo-hoo, but to exhibit what you just said you did in your younger years? You're saying he's a punk?
I ain't saying he a punk.
Then what are you saying?
I'm saying he need to deal with his fucking feelings better than that. Is what I'm trying to say.
I disagree. I think the narrative needs to change. We too often put this responsibility on men to bottle up their emotions. You need to handle that better.
I'm writing this down as another point to make up next time. This is a whole nother show because me and my friend talked about this shit too. But okay.
Just make your point now.
No, because we gonna go back into it. We're gonna go back into it.
Respect. Any other things y'all want to bring up about violence in relationships?
Violence is wrong. It's wrong. It's wrong, people.
And it's wrong for
Keep
anybody.
your fucking hands to yourself. Everybody. I
said that.
Shawan, keep your hands to yourself.
I'm doing the best that I can. Promise you. I mean,
because I listen to that shit at work. I'll be like talking to people and stuff, and women be like, oh, man, motherfucker come and work with their nails. Or what the fuck? Me and my boyfriend got into it last night. This motherfucker got the wrong one and all this other shit. I'm like, hold up, you hit him?
Wait a minute.
You hit him? Like, yeah, that motherfucker. And I'm like, and
you
that's
breaking
okay.
Nails?
Like, you know, like they go through that kind of shit, and I'll be like, yeah, you okay with that, huh? You okay with it hitting your nigga in your face?
This is the problem for me. I'm generally like low key, so I just let stuff
that
build.
That means that you're more dangerous than the other ones. I'm just letting you know that right now.
And like, I'll tell you, like, you know what, walk away, or I'll say, you know what, stop. And when I do that, and you continuously keep coming and keep coming and keep coming, there's a point where.
I mean, but see that right there? You told, look. Cause and effect. You gave them. Look, if you don't, it's dollar. Blue, if I raise up, it's gonna be trouble. Like you told them that.
I just try to be calm.
You told them that though. I mean, now it's like it's free spirit on that in that situation. Like,
is it? No,
if he getting you,
if he
once he aggressively, you know what I'm saying, bumps into you or something like that. Once he does that to you or something like that, and you feel unsafe. But to me,
now you're antagonizing.
No, you feel unsafe though. You feel unsafe. Just like
I take that as you antagonizing me because I told you to
putting your hands on you. Yes, that's what I'm saying. That person is in the wrong. That's going over that line. That's a whole different situation. Yeah. Don't put your hands on me because guess what? The law says do not aggressively put your hand. It doesn't qualify what aggressive is or not. Just don't touch me.
Okay.
Now there's another one. What you know when females do this shit and all that other stuff, dudes. Like, isn't that a sign of aggressiveness though? Have you seen that before?
I've seen that.
Yeah, like now, what is he supposed to do? No, it never happened to me. Ain't nobody that fucking crazy. First of all, I have a mother and I have a cousin and I have a sister and I'll be on the fucking phone in a second.
Involving other people.
Right, so now you want to involve other people to come beat their ass.
I pull people over people's asses before because I don't want to do that. I hate that shit. I do. I hate. You know what? I'm going to call my brother. What the fuck is your brother going to do? This is not your brother's business. I can't stand that shit.
But listen, that leads to people getting killed.
Exactly.
Because you think about this. Like, you might not ever even call your brother. This person, the last thing you gave them is, my brother going to F you up.
Right. That's a
He
life-threatening
goes
situation.
somewhere and sees your brother and expects that your brother gonna try to F him up. So he's gonna do something prior to your brother being able
let me be clear. I was joking when I said the thing about my mother completely. I would never bring my mother into no shit like that. Okay. My mother's a 67-year-old woman. She has nothing to do with that.
You got to clarify.
But I'm being real right now. But with that being said, I never bring nobody else into my own business, and that shit burns me up when motherfuckers do that. You know what? Can't such and such over here to fuck you up. That's a life-threatening situation right there, because that's a whole different ball of worms, a whole different everything. Because at that time, you don't know who played with those games like that. You just fucking up your own situation. Now, let's say, prime example, I've known that situation to happen and bubble up too much. I have a friend. A couple years ago, I had a birthday party. You know, I have a birthday party every year. Mm-hmm. Had a birthday party. Friday night, I saw him. By Saturday, by Sunday, he was dead. Him and his daughter's mother got into it. The cousin, he did not put his hands on her or nothing like that. They got into it over their daughter's custody or some shit like that. Something about some money and some shoes or something like that. He said, "I'm tired of this shit. I'll see you in court." She called her cousin. Her cousin went over around his neighborhood, saw him. They got into an argument. Now, the friend of mine whooped the cousin's ass. Another dude get out the car. Now, a friend of mine has asthma. Terribly. Had asthma. Terribly. Had an asthma attack out in the front of his house. Died right there. Now, your cousin is in jail for manslaughter.
And your daughter don't have
Your daughter doesn't have a father because you said that stupid shit out your mouth this morning.
That's sad.
It's not, like, that's not a game. People play too many games with shit like that. That's why I don't argue and fight and all that. Unless you say something to me or directly threaten my family or something like that, you know, I ain't.
Right, so do not get physical unless you're in the gym or
right, man.
Right, well, you know, it's a little intimacy. That's normal.
Man, that's what I thought we were going with this.
I'm not.
I thought we were talking about, the caress of a cheek.
I'm not. No.
You talking about actually hurting somebody now?
Yes.
That's a whole different. Oh my God. Keep your hands to yourself.
Keep your hands to yourself is the end of that one.
Like somebody like you.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to move on to the next topic. Picking sides. When you have a spouse or a partner and you have a family, what does that look like?
I'm not married to you.
I can say
it doesn't matter if you're married or not. You can be in a long-term relationship with someone and, they have different expectations of how you should move with your family.
Meaning?
My thing is, don't ever put me in a position where I need to choose between you and my family. Don't do it. And I make that clear up front because that's my family. That's going to always be my family.
They were here before.
Now, you are being incorporated into my life, but they are the foundation of my life. Now, hear me out, Ron.
I'm listening.
Because here's the thing.
Because I'm about to get...
I'm not going to let anybody disrespect you.
Right.
I know you don't want anybody to disrespect me.
Absolutely not.
Right.
But at the same time, I feel like first of all, you have to be with somebody that has the same family orientation as you in order for them to even understand what your family makeup is. I see too often you'll have like a woman who barely has any family, and then you have a man that has a huge family that's extremely family oriented. She can't understand what that structure is because it's not something she used to.
I get what you're saying.
And it's like you can't have this person who don't understand this now try to dictate to you what you should be doing over here.
Right, yeah. I agree.
And I see that happen a lot. And it causes a rift because they don't get it. I know somebody right now, same thing. He don't get along with his family. He got a small family. They don't see each other that often. She got a huge family. They always mingling and doing stuff. He don't want her. He want her to cut them off. Why?
Why?
But I'm just saying. So that's my reason why I say don't put me in a position where I need to try to make a decision between you and them.
I get that.
Especially if it's for just because you don't understand why we interact the way we do.
So this was a thing that somebody put on Facebook one time, and this was a huge long comment trail of comments. All right. So basically, the question was this: your husband and your father get into an argument. Now, there's no physical altercation, nothing like that, right? Y'all are at your father's house. Your husband stand up and say, "Man, come on, let's go. We leaving." Your father say, "Sit your ass down." What are you gonna do? Now, I'm not asking y'all. I want to hear your point, but I'm gonna tell you like this: it was like a spread situation. Now, I know one girl in particular that I used to deal with. Right? She's what you define as a daddy's girl. Like to this day, her father, she needs something. Blah blah blah. So her situation is this. The problem in the situation that she was like, my father told me to sit down and sit the fuck down, and we'll deal with that later. I said, you do know that was your husband, right? I said that. Now some women was like, I'm not married to my father. Tell my father, listen, I'll talk to you later. We'll have a conversation, blah blah blah, and I'd leave with my husband. Now, in my opinion, I think that's the right way to go. Now, but the one thing that I would say when I said this to the young lady I was talking about. She's never had that aspect where, you know how a man steps into the role of a quintessential cookie cutter shape of what a man is in the life of a husband, like a protector, a provider, or this and this. Okay. Like when you think you can trust him, like you can trust that this is always gonna be somebody like that. Like so that like the covet goes from one thing to another. That's the reason why her father normally gives a hand over to blah blah blah. Right. This is your job now. You take care of this. I'm handing this over. So she's never really had that before, like in her life. So I can understand why she would make that decision. You know what I mean? I see both sides of that point. At first, I was like, you're out your fucking mind. I'm sorry, man. If we married and you do some shit like that, me and you have a serious issue right now. We have a serious issue where we even need to go see some counseling or sit down and have a conversation because you obviously don't trust me at all. You have it's not about a love thing. It's about, why isn't it?
For me, it depends on what was happening. What was the disagreement about?
Why is that important?
Because if you was wrong and you was being an ass and you was trying to disrespect my family and my father was protecting his family and you was wrong, or if maybe the argument was about the fact that he didn't like the way you been treating his daughter. Mm-hmm. Right. He heard you slap the shit out of me. Mm-hmm. Right. And he was saying something to you about that, and then you said, let's go. That's not the time for me to rock with that.
Okay, I understand.
But if it was just some you like the Redskins, I like the Cowboys,
$5,
right?
$15.
Then I'm going with my
like
husband.
That.
Right. I think it depends on what the argument is about.
I mean, so what if it's some shit like that? Like, look, you prime example, we married or whatever. You bring me a play. The fuck is you bringing them a play for? I'm like, what do you mean? Blah blah blah. There's some stupid argument like that. That's not like who's in fault in that?
Your father is, because he doesn't have anything to do with what I choose to do for my husband.
In y'all life.
Correct.
Yeah. Right. Y'all life is a whole different situation.
It's a whole different situation.
That's the thing. I would completely agree with you. Like you said, it's always about the situation and what the argument was about. Not most people said that. Some people didn't even give it an opportunity to get to that place. I'm going with my father. Well, that's going with my husband. There's a lot of girls who's like, I'm gonna do whatever my father tell me to do. I'm like, okay. I mean, no problem. What would you do?
Like I told you, it depends on what the argument is about. It really, really depends. It really, really depends. Like if you were straight up disrespecting him,
okay,
I'm going to have to just take that seat and let you know that you were wrong. But if he is, out of pocket and disrespecting you, I'm gonna have to let him know, like, we want to discuss this later, and
right.
I'm moving on. It's situational.
So it's all about what side you take in the situation.
I just never want to be in that situation.
It's about what side you take in the situation. You can say yes because that's what it is.
It depends on It depends on my opinion. It depends on what I'm feeling.
All right, now.
All right. Okay.
So, your wife does not like your huge family. She don't have siblings. She's an only child. Mm-hmm. Her mother was an only child. She don't feel like it's necessary for y'all to spend hours upon hours on the weekend. He can.
Doing family-oriented things.
She don't want you to do that. Y'all got your own.
Was I doing this when we were dating?
Yes.
Yeah.
then you should have
married,
gotten
man.
over it then, or let me know you had a problem with it then. At this point,
Oh, that's your response? Shrug shoulders.
I mean, what you want? You know, I'm always thrown off. Like people, I mean, if you did something before, you know what I'm saying?
I think that's my thing. You knew walking into
if you
the
took your drink
situation
this way before, I'm
that
not going
this
to be.
is how I was, and this
y'all
is what I
act
was
like
doing.
y'all don't realize that people think that when you get married,
You
people
won't
change.
change.
And that's their own
people
problem
think that
with
marriage
that. I
is
don't
gonna
think
change
that. I
people.
mean, I'm
I
not gonna
don't
say
think that
people.
way.
I'm not gonna say people don't change. So I think people do change when they're ready to. But I mean, if a person is a certain way, and you were with them at that point, and they were that way, and it was okay with you then, you can't be surprised that they still doing it. You know, 5,
Okay,
10
well,
years
some people
down the
feel
road.
like once y'all got married, I became the center of your universe.
Was that a conversation that we had?
No, I'm still an individual.
Everything else
Was that a
falls by the
conversation we had?
wayside
I'm
because the
still an
wife come
individual.
first or the husband come first. and that's it.
My spouse can come first, but I'm still an individual, and I can make decisions to do respectfully.
I mean, I mean, that's just one of the reasons why I'm huge in communication, because I need to know how you think about this and how I think about that, so we don't have this problem down the road. You know, I don't like that. I don't care for it. Okay, this is this, and this. You don't care for this. This, and this, and this, and this, and this, and this. This is where I'll go back to you and your Gemini thing, blah, blah, blah. I am not two-faced or two-sided or anything like that. I don't do no whole lot of argument. If I don't hold grudges. It's like this. I mean, that's how I am. I'm like, you say something, I don't listen. I'm gonna tell you right now, Midori, I didn't care for this.
Okay.
We have a conversation, and at the end of it, it's over. I'm not gonna go on with it for a month and a half later. Like, you know, remember when you did this, and I'm still pissed off about that. I mean, people do that. I mean, but I don't do that. I don't like doing it. I don't like the people to do that. Like, that's a lie. Having a conversation about a past thing or being pissed off about it is a whole different thing.
Okay.
You bringing it up.
No,
You
that's not
bringing
what I'm saying.
you bringing it up.
No, having a
is
conversation
expressing that
about
you-
something. Having a conversation about an event in the life between the two people is a whole different thing.
Yo,
It's not the same thing as an argument.
Okay, sure, but you're bringing it up.
Oh my god.
You're bringing
It's
it
not the
up.
same thing. It's not the same thing.
Sure.
You think because you ask her, I'm just be like, you know what? You know
No,
what?
but since she's a voice, I'm asking her opinion. Like, if you made a statement, if you bring it up, I mean, damn it.
I guess to clarify, it would be when are you bringing it up? At the time that the event occurs, or you bring it up 6 months later, a year later?
A year later,
At the time
5
it
years
occurs.
later.
Okay.
I mean, I think it's fair that you can mention it at the time that it occurs, but if
Yeah.
you bring it up like right now,
Like you still mad about it. I'm not gonna say we're not gonna say it. You know how people say that cliche of we're not gonna go to sleep upset with each other. I'm not gonna say we believe that. But if we got a problem, we gotta address that problem.
Okay.
That's
Fair
how I'm
enough.
saying. We have to address that problem, and then you've made your point, I made my point. We need to meet in the middle, and it's over.
We can agree to disagree.
If we can get to the place where it's over.
Okay. You can agree to disagree.
Are we talking about agree to disagree about me, or agree to disagree, period, about the point?
Don't make
Period.
this
About
about
any
you.
point. I was expounding on your statement. We can agree to disagree.
Fine.
Any more feedback on that, guys?
I'm rocking with my family most of the time.
So you rocking with your family most of the time?
Yes.
Okay.
How long you been married?
Don't worry about that.
I can't ask that question.
You can ask, I just don't have to answer.
Fine.
All right. Well, I think that wraps up episode 4. Thank you so much for watching. Please continue to subscribe.
Hit the bell.
And we'll see you guys on the next episode. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.